Like I still remember at that point, Ola was probably one of the early companies that was being set up. Fun fact, the first website of Ola was designed on my laptop way back in college because the designer of Ola was my wingmate. And Ola, of course, is an IT Bombay company. I am your typical small town boy. I come from this city called as Nagpur, and as I grew up over there in Nagpur, went to a boys' school. It was very close to my house, so traveled by cycle, came back from there just like that, and of course throughout that period. Definitely enjoyed participating in a bunch of things, right? Like a lot of typically being the house captain, participating in sports, participating in debates, and so on and so forth. And yeah, that's how that journey started. Really had no plans to get into IIT, except that at the day of our board results, me and a couple of other friends of mine, we were just sitting on our on the staircase in our football field, and they just told me ki there is some random institute that is doing some exam today, and if you do well in that exam, they'll give you some discount and their coaching. And we said कि यार चलो चले जाते हैं, आज वैसे भी कुछ करने को नहीं है. Went over there, applied over there, fortunately got through that examination, got the scholarship, and then said कि okay, scholarship मिली गई है, this IIT engineering thing seems interesting. Anyways, there was a bend towards science and math throughout life, and originally I wanted to do engineering physics a lot. So felt that ki, maybe this is something that I would like to do. So continued going down that path, and then started actually preparing for IIT post my 10th. I joined actually with Saurabh and Harish. We were all batchmates. We joined in 2006. At that point, I don't think there was even this term called as a unicorn startup. Startups just barely existed in this country. I actually got to know about Orkut in my first year of college, and by then Orkut was already very large. The thought process always was that you wanted to create something of unique value, help the world move ahead, and give something back to the society, create value for people and individuals out there. And as a result, started participating in a bunch of these things throughout college. Did my first small startup in the 4th year of my college actually. I come from a material science background. There's actually something that we started with. We got a grant from IIT Bombay, got a grant from the entrepreneurship cell inside of IIT Bombay. Started that out, but I think within a few months, I think it fizzled out. Really didn't get traction at that point. बड़ा होके बहुत बढ़िया startup करना है. All of this wasn't there. The real thought process was that, okay, this is something very interesting. There is a clear demand for it somewhere in this world. And maybe we will fit it in over here and sell it to these kind of people and probably make some money out of it. The thought process of entrepreneurship and this entire spirit was, I think, in its very, very, very early stages way back then. In fact, just around that period, a bunch of companies started coming out of IIT Bombay who started to do entrepreneurship, and where people wanted to start doing entrepreneurship as step zero. Plus, I think the biggest value, going back to your earlier question, I think the value that IIT gives, and the biggest value that actually it's given to me, is that it opened up access to such a large network of so many really, really smart people. That almost any problem if you had, or almost any connect if you had, you wanted to get, that person would just probably be one connection away. And that unlocked opportunities at an immense scale, right? So I think that's the common theme across all IITs. It's access to network. And then of course, being in Bombay, the city, and Delhi, the city, gives you access to a much wider opportunity set. And it opens up you to a world that a lot of other people don't have access to, right? The default thought process at that point was, let's try and figure out what this side of the world looks like. And as a result, I ended up joining Deutsche. And plus, I think I actually got my fair share of entrepreneurial experience from Deutsche as well, because the team that we were working on was also like a small startup inside Deutsche. It was literally building a trading platform for traders inside of Deutsche. And that I think was really, really valuable at that point. But the only reason why I think after spending a couple of years in Deutsche, I was really, what really happened was that I couldn't see myself just working for money for that longer period, right? There was no other motivation. I couldn't see myself doing any impact outside the space. And that's, I think, the reason why I decided to move on And then immediately after Deutsche, the first thing that I did was called up a bunch of my friends, said, okay, these are a couple of ideas that I have in mind. What are you thinking? Would you want to come and join? And again, this is now 2013. Again, startups did not exist at that scale. Like I still remember at that point, Ola was probably one of the early companies that was being set up. Fun fact, the first website of Ola was designed on my laptop way back in college because the designer of Ola was my wingmate, and Ola of course is an IIT Bombay company. So yeah, this is that time. And again, it was not very common for people to start companies. That momentum had started to come in, but not really common. So I think for the first 6 months, me and my other two co-founders, who of course are very close friends of mine also, we were actually working our day jobs in the day, in the evening, and our jobs were bank jobs, right? So we start at 11 and at 10ish, and then at 10 we would pack our bags, go to like the only Costa coffee in all of Bombay that would stay open till 2 or 3, and then we would sit over there. And at that time there was no Figma, we didn't know Photoshop, so we literally created the first version of our product on PowerPoint. We had snapshot images of what a phone would look like, what a button would look like, and arguing over whether this font inside of PowerPoint made our app look better or something else did was the journey in which we were going through. So left Deutsche to start Niffler, which was our first startup. The point was to, at that point, mobile was blowing up. It was the first time when we got mobile in our hands, and we could immediately see what just availability of information at your fingertips, and that too more about hyperlocal, did to you. And as a result, the idea behind Niffler was to help people identify and more work closer with their local communities, and get access to local information, local offers, local deals, local discounts, local knowledge, and then help people get access to that. That was the part that we were trying to solve. We started off building out a media-based model from a monetization perspective. And yeah, that's that. So started Niffler, and then the journey from there has been fairly straightforward. We had actually worked on a lot of partnerships with a lot of companies, and one such company at that time was HelpChat. We were also by that point building out a product very similar, and we had gone deep into the hyperlocal offers, deals and discounts part. So we were actually powering the entire offers piece for HelpChat, and we ended up doing a bunch of conversations with the team over there, and both of us really liked each other, and where the point was that it would actually make more sense if both the companies joined together and we would work together. As a result, Niffler got acquired by HelpChat. That ended up doing really, really well. The entire team stayed throughout the period. I ended up heading product at HelpChat, and then the name of the company changed from HelpChat to Tabzo, and we ended up building out a lot of things over there. I first got to know about crypto way back in 2012 while I was at Deutsche. In 2013, actually, and that mail thread is still running, Bitcoin hit $100, and me and a few of my friends started a mail thread talking about BTC, and literally the subject of that mail thread is Bitcoin has hit $100. Is it too late for us to participate? Literally, that's the title of that thread. From a technology perspective, also it was a fairly interesting innovation in how it combines a bunch of simple concepts into, suddenly giving you the ability to create and transfer value and trust amongst each other without there need to be a central party. And I think just from an intellectual perspective, that was really exciting, and that curiosity was always there. So that continued to move. I continued to move at Tabzo. All the stuff that PhonePe does now is what we were building then. At that point, after a lot of conversations, Tabzo was going to get acquired by Amazon. I felt that I would die at Amazon if I continued to do that. So decided to leave that opportunity, and was by that time very deep into finance and fintech and wealth tech, where the thought process was more about that in reality, all of our relationships with money is really very broken. I broadly figured out that everything in financial services can be broken down to one of the 5 pillars of wealth, savings, insurance, credit, and payment, right? And when we went deeper and deeper into, again, asking this question, okay, how can we create value for the world, and how can we help people get access to these financial services, we realized that there were just 2 clear paths that you could take. One pathway was either you solve for the education and information problem, and the other side that we said was you had to really solve for the inefficiency problem. And really that's what started Mudrex out. Our mission statement over there is that we want to solve and make financial services more and more accessible to users in the world. We feel that going the crypto pathway is the right pathway for the same, because it fundamentally solves for a few efficiency problems that don't exist, that do exist a lot otherwise, and that's how we started off that journey. So I think, first personally talking about me, I'm not a trader. In fact, I highly discourage trading. In fact, that's the entire thesis of our product as well, that it's better to invest for the longer run, do consistent investing over the longer run than to trade. This is not the first time I'm investing in Saurabh. Saurabh and Harish are great friends, and I've always believed in their ability. I do love both of these guys purely from the perspective of how they think about where the world is moving and the strengths that they bring to the table in trying to solve for this really important problem. So we're all fairly related with each other from that perspective, and always believe and bet in each other's ability to grow and scale companies. From a stable money perspective, I think the problem statement that stable money is trying to solve is very real and very valuable. 40% of India's wealth is actually in FDs. As the next few years, at least directionally the way I'm seeing the next few years progress, we are going to stay in an environment of high interest rates. That really means that anything that is taking more risk in your life is going to now start competing with a very simple FD for an interest perspective, from a returns perspective. And I think as a result, the problem that stable money is trying to solve for is as a result very valuable.